At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Building a portfolio with Fidelity Basket Portfolios is kind of like making a sandwich. It's as simple as picking your stocks and ETFs, sort of like your meats and other topics, and managing it as one big, juicy investment. Now that's pretty good. Learn more at fidelity.com/baskets. Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to Lovely. My name is Mehak. I am your host. I love spending Fridays with you guys now. It's become a part of my routine and I love it. If you didn't catch last week's episode, I had so much fun recording. I had my good friend Mikey on, and we talked about a really hot topic and something that I'm really passionate about, which is how dating in your 20s is so different than dating in your 30s. And we talked about it all. We talked about the glow up of our dating eras and then how none of us are just putting up with the bare minimum anymore, and there is a bare minimum epidemic. So if you missed it, go catch up. Today, we're talking about another hot topic, which is so real. I think growing up, a lot of us had chill parents.
I would take a bullet for you. You know that.
That is comforting.
That's how I am. That's how I roll. It's how I do.
I don't know what that's like. Can't relate. And a lot of us had really strict parents.
I think we know better our daughter's potential. Just has no time for games.
And then some of us had parents who were pretty much like the FBI, right? Like dating was off limits. Love was a forbidden concept, and having a boyfriend, like, no, that just did not exist in my household. But we all find a way. So we have Genesis Soul on the show today, and she is bold. She is hilarious. She is also the founder of a comedy variety show called Witty Titties. Oh, I got to say that like 5 times. Witty Titties, Witty Titties. Which features some of the best female and non-binary headlining and up-and-coming drag and burlesque performers.
I'm wearing a motherfucking tutu, okay? That's what's up. I am living my Carrie Bradshaw dream. Thank you. It's what every white woman wants. Thank you so much.
So, Genesis, hello, how are you?
Hello. What a heck of an intro. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I am bold.
It's on brand. It's on brand.
It's so on brand. It's so on brand. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, my pleasure. And I think as we were logging in, I was like, I love your hair and your red. The last time I dyed my hair was because I was getting over a breakup. Is this what caused it, or why did this happen?
I literally have the telltale signs of a breakup haircut. I got bangs. I changed my hair completely. But no, unless surprise, boyfriend, I broke up with you. And you're finding out through this podcast.
I love it. I love the red. I love the green. It's giving very Poison Ivy from Uma Thurman, Batman vibes.
Ooh,
I don't know if you're millennial or Gen Z, and I hope you got the reference. But
I'm a millennial. I'm very much a millennial. But the fact that you thought I was Gen Z means the sunscreen is working.
It sure is. I want to get into a little bit of your background growing up. So we always love to ask our guests, what is your connection to immigrant identity? So would you like to share a little bit on that?
So my mom is from Venezuela. and my dad is from Croatia. That was my whole background growing up, was just kind of melding those two together while living in Texas. And that was a very interesting way of growing up. I don't have too much connection to my Croatian side. I've got to visit, and I am working on trying to get my Croatian citizenship, just in case.
Yeah, good to have. Why not? The more the merrier. Yeah.
Why not? Let's be citizens of the world.
I love it.
So I've gotten to visit, and I have family there, but I don't have too much connection to my Croatian side. As an adult, I'm actually trying to get more into it. It's just harder because it's a small country. Croatian is not on Duolingo. I was like trying to be like, oh, they're Croatian. And that owl said no. So really, I identify a lot more with my Venezuelan side. I practically grew up there. Like, even though I was born in America, I would go back and forth. We would spend every summer in Venezuela while I was growing up. And I would pretty much go back there every year, every other year until about 2015. The politics got a little too dicey for someone this white looking. Every time I'd show up, they'd just be like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm one of you.
Yeah. And I can relate to that. I mean, with that, the politics being in reverse, like when you're brown looking and you're in Texas, that's a different thing
Exactly.
too. So I get it.
Exactly.
But what is it with immigrant families picking Texas to raise their kids? I don't understand that.
I don't know. I think it's because I don't think like when you're planning on immigrating, I don't think you know American politics. Like you just kind of choose.
Honestly, like my parents picked it. I know a whole bunch of other people that picked it. And then now hearing from you too. Yeah. So growing up in a Pakistani household in Texas, my parents were very strict and conservative. Do you share the same experience?
Oh yeah. My dad is more aloof than he is strict. He's just kind of like lets my mom do whatever.
Oh,
it's very
aloof.
reverse. Like he's just like there.
Okay.
He's there. He goes to work.
He's not playing bad cop.
No, he'll just like back my mom up. If anything, sometimes he'd be good cop, but like good cop, he wouldn't be like, oh, let her do it. He'd just be like, let her do it. Like it was very that. He's very Eastern European, very like chill. My mom is very Latina and very conservative. Both of my parents are very, very conservative, very Catholic, very strict on the sense of like, I could not date. It was very much, you cannot date until you're married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like make it make sense. It doesn't add up.
How do I get to A to B? And my mom was very much keeping an eye on me because I was so obsessed with boys and had so many crushes and just wanted to be, I mean, essentially I was a pick-me girl. I've recovered. I no longer center men in my life.
Okay, good. We love the glow up. Okay.
But I was very much like, pick me, choose me. You know how like, I don't know if your family was like this, but my mom was also an almond mom, where she was very much like, there's no sugar in the house. So then I became obsessed with sugar, and now I have such a sweet tooth. It was very much that, like, you can't like boys, you can't date boys, you can't go out. At this point, it's like, I think now that we're older, like, we're now like kind of dropping lore on our parents and be like, hey, so I didn't tell you about that time that I totally snuck out of the house. Oh, no. I'm a nice girl. Let's turn the dance floor into our own little nasty world.
Okay, so speaking of lore, tell me your dating lore growing up, because I heard you were dating guys that were way too Americanized. What does that mean?
I mean, they were American. Like, they were American. They were white boys. Okay.
Right.
So
like white as fuck.
White as fuck in Texas. And their parents were like these freaking cool American parents who were like, yeah, honey, go date. Let me give you some money and I'll take you to the mall and bring your little girlfriend. Like, it was that. And coming from, I had to hide and sneak and not tell my parents anything. It was such a culture shock because I'm like, what do you mean you told your mom about me? Like, oh my God, like we're going to get in trouble. And my boyfriends at the time would be like, no, like they offered to drop us off at Dave & Buster's. And we're like, oh.
A foreign concept, like unheard of.
It was so weird. And my first crush was in kindergarten. My first boyfriend was in first or second grade, whatever a boyfriend is. But then like my real actual like first proper relationships that I would consider was like probably when I was 13. It was a constant budding of ideals. It was a constant budding of like these boys who liked me and wanted to date me, then coming up against, well, why can't we actually go on a date? Or why can't you come to the school dance? Like the one guaranteed place for a date. And I'm like, my mom will not let me go out of this house. Let me give you an example. You want to talk about helicopter parenting. My mom was a drone, okay? She was a stay-at-home mom. So we had the privilege of like, my dad made enough that she could stay at home, right? So 6th grade was the first time we had school dances. And I had grown up watching Disney Channel and Nickelodeon and like the school dance. This is such a big deal. It was the first school dance of 6th grade. First time ever, ever, ever. It took a lot of convincing, but my mom let me go. She was like, the only way you can go is if I go.
I'm not going.
Fucking went. I fucking went. And watch this. She was not an official chaperone. She was just an adult, just there. Wasn't like a parent volunteer or anything. Like she was there. So then she shows up and I'm like, I just run away from her. I'm just like, whatever, mom, you said you'd be here, but I'm going to run around.
Don't be my shadow. Like, get away from me.
It was in the cafeteria / gymnasium is where the school dance is.
It always is. And it smells musty and like, you know.
So we eat here. We just eat here every day. Why are we dancing and dry humping in this cafeteria? So she's just like there in the wings, just like she's not even talking to the other teachers or anything. She's just there watching me. And I'm just like, whatever, ignore. I go to my friends. I'm dancing. I'm having a great time. And it happens. The slow dance. And I had a huge crush on someone. He didn't like me back. And so when it comes to the slow dance, he's off with like the girl that he liked. And I'm like, oh my God, this sucks. And then everyone started pairing off. And I'm like next to this guy. And he was my friend at the time. But, you know, we'd been friends since elementary school, but we didn't like each other. But we just kind of looked and we were like, well, we have to, right? Like, you want to dance? We start slow dancing. Mind you, it is the most middle school slow dance. Like, we are not like close to each other. It is very much my hands are on
like
his
it's COVID.
shoulder.
It's like 6 feet apart.
There was like, you know, the saying like leave room for Jesus. Like Jesus could have had 6 disciples with the space that we had between us.
Jesus is like, get a little closer.
Jesus is like, this is awkward for me. Like,
yeah.
So we're the hands on his shoulder and we're swaying. It is truly not like a thing at all. But his hands are on my hip.
Oh, mom does not like that.
Just on my hips and there is nothing more. My mom is watching this. My mom sees this. And she comes out from lurking in the shadows, grabs my arm in front of everyone, pulls me aside, and she's like, you are never going to another school dance again. And true to her word, I did not go to another school. I didn't even go to prom.
You know what? Join the party. I didn't go to prom either. But I was also homeschooled, so.
Oh, well, that's a little different. See, I was in public school. The humiliation rituals I went through my mom, just to add to the picture of what a loser I was, even though I went to public school from grades kindergarten to 6th grade, I think is when she started letting me wear regular clothes. She put me in uniforms, like khakis and polos.
In public school?
In public school.
Is she still like this?
She chilled a lot out. Once I got out of the house and I had a car,
Yeah.
she had to chill out. But even now, she's very overbearing and overprotective. And I understand it all comes out of love. I get it.
You turned out great. Okay. Like social, outgoing. And oftentimes people are surprised when they find out I was homeschooled and I didn't get to be in those social environments. They're like, we cannot tell at all. I'm like, again, trauma. It's a trauma response.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think, were you rebellious? Like, did you rebel against?
Well, yeah, I did. But not until I was in university. So I was a little bit of a late bloomer. Parents used to be super strict, super conservative. And again, I don't want to be like, hey, like you're at fault. Like that's what they saw growing up, right? And that's all they knew. And it was hard to adapt so quickly being in a new environment. So I understand that too. But did they ever have that conversation with you? Like, did they tell you this is why we're so conservative? Like, was it religion? Was it reputation? What was it?
That's a great question. Yes, they did. Like, my mom was very much, we're in America, but we're not Americans. She very much was like, you are Venezuelan, you are Latina. We might be in America and your little friends might be doing American shit, but we're doing Venezuelan shit. Like, we're doing it.
Period.
I get it. Like, at the time, it was annoying because, of course, all my friends, it was just so hard to be so different in a way that it was inconvenient. I liked being different. I'm very proud of my Venezuelan roots. I'm very proud that my mom forced me to speak Spanish and I know Spanish. I'm very proud of my background and I always have been. I've always been very proud of being Latina. But it was more like, it was the times where I'm not being any less Latina if I do this. It was so hard, the constant peer pressure and the constant just, wait, why can't you do this? Like, this seems weird. And it was even more inconvenient for my mom. Like, my mom was so just nervous and overprotective about things that could happen. I wasn't allowed to ride the bus. I could have ridden the bus, but she was like, I don't know what happens on the bus. I will drive you every day.
It's that having control and needing to be with you at all times. And again, like, I love my mother and she recognizes this and we talk about it now. Like, we're like this now, like, we're good. Like, back in the day, I couldn't even wear like capris. Oh my God, your ankles are showing? No. Your shoulders are showing in a tank top. And now sometimes if I go out and not wearing crop top, she's like, you feeling okay? Like, go. Like, she's good. She's golden. But it's like the evolution, it's been fantastic. But I get their intention and I know they meant well. But I do think at times, or most times hearing your story, it could have been like a little less.
Yeah. And I think she just very much just didn't care about how it affected me socially. And I think also, again, in retrospect, like, I'm trying to put myself in her shoes. And I think she always knew I'd be fine. But it was like, why'd you have to make it so hard? And I'm still mad.
It stays with you. And it comes out in things like when you're not exposed to that, sometimes you do pick me things and that's not cute.
No. And I had to deconstruct this like centering of men of like, I just didn't ever think I was ever going to be allowed to date, or I didn't ever think I was going to be able to have like a typical like American meet cute and then have a boyfriend like and go on dates. So anytime it did happen, it was such a big deal when it really didn't have to be. I used to blame my mom for a lot, where I was just like, I'm like this because of my mom. And now she's chilled out. I've been with my partner like 5 years and we've, now I'm like in a full-blown proper adult relationship. And I'm like, oh man, I can't use my mom as an excuse anymore. What do I need to work on? And that's just kind of been an ongoing battle.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
I think I just won my taxes.
Yeah?
I just switched to H&R Block in about 1 minute. All I had to do was drag and drop last year's return into H&R Block, and bam, my information is automatically there.
So I don't have to go digging around for all my old papers to switch?
Nope.
Sounds like we just leveled up our tax game.
Switching to H&R Block is easy. Just drag and drop your last return. It's better with Block.
Again, I bring my mom up because she just is such a force in my life. Like, my dad just would see my mom's craziness and just be like, cool. I married her, I guess.
That's usually how it goes, right?
Right. Was your mom also like the one really pushing it? Or was it also your dad?
Both my parents were very strict, but I was daddy's little girl. So yes, he had the same, she can't go out in the world. Like, what if a boy touches her? What if a boy hurts her? But you be bad cop. You give her that news. And I'm going to take all the benefits of her being chill and good with me. So they navigated that. But, I'm good with both my parents now. And in a way, I will be honest, them being strict did keep me grounded through the times that you needed to stay grounded. I want to talk to you about that because are you in your stepmom era? Did I hear that right?
I guess. I don't consider myself that. I'm like a fun aunt who fucks their dad.
No, for sure.
He does have twin girls, and hanging out with them and parenting them. I mean, not that much. Again, I feel like I always say, like, my boyfriend is an amazing mom. He cooks, he cleans, he takes care of them, picks them up from school. And I show up and I'm like, you want to gossip? What?
Yeah, he's a unicorn. I love it.
Yeah, he's perfect. It's actually so annoying.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Hanging out with them, we've been together 5 years, but I was very adamant about, like, I didn't want to meet them until I was, like, ready. So I really only met them like a year or two ago.
And that's valid. You have to take time with those things, right? Because it's a big step.
Huge step. And I don't understand people who like, I've been dating you for 6 months, 3 months, me and my kids. I'm like, hell no.
Hell no.
Like, I feel weird even meeting people's pets. I'm like, this is a big step.
Right. Yeah, it's intimate.
I waited 3 years, very much like, let's get this right. And then they were great. Like, he co-parents with the mother of the kid. She met me first, like, before I met them, because she was like, are you a weirdo? Like, are you in this? And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm in this.
You got to scope it out.
So I love how they parent. I love how they, like, were really cool. And then the kids are cool. And that made it a lot easier because, like, oh man, if they sucked.
Can you imagine?
And I'm like, oh man, I really like you, but your kids suck.
I've never been in that position, but that would be rough.
How do you tell someone that? Yeah. No, they're lovely. They're super fun. They're hilariously smart. And as I've hung out with them, I've understood my mom a lot more. As I've been in the parenting side of it, I'm like, oh shit, I was an asshole. And I knew I was an asshole as I was being a 13-year-old angsty asshole. I knew it at the time.
But that's our role. Like, we're 13. We're girls. I'm no longer going to say, like, I'm just a girl. No, I'm an entire portal to life. But, like, at 13, I was just a girl. So let me be a girl and be a little bit of, like, a nuisance. Like, it's fine.
Now I want to impart my values on these girls. They're Latina, but they don't know Spanish. And that kills me.
Are you teaching them?
I'm trying. Like, we've got them at least on Duolingo. It's really hard. Like, I don't have my mom's patience to, like, she would sit us down and teach us Spanish. And I don't think I have that in me. So I feel bad because I'm like, am I like setting these kids up for failure? Because, like, they look Latina. Like, they have very Latin features. And I'm just like, it's just hard navigating life looking like you can speak a language and you don't.
Yeah. And even in interaction, sometimes when someone just assumes you speak the language and you don't, you feel like, am I missing something? Like, I get the psychology behind it, but baby steps. Get them on Duolingo and, they have time.
You brought up something about like the not meeting things. Once I got older and I had like actual boyfriends, I've had like maybe 3 or 4 maybe that have met my parents. And again, it was like after at least a year, or like a long time. And my current boyfriend, they only met this Christmas.
Oh, and how did that go?
It went fairly well. I was surprised. I was very nervous. Again, I waited 4 or 5 years until they met because I just know like my parents are very particular and my boyfriend is not my mom's ideal type.
What do you mean by that?
She's, how do I put it delicately, racist? Yeah. Like you're just like, what are we doing? My mom, I think, just wants me to marry my dad because she wants a tall, white European. And I'm like, I'm going to give you short, brown Peruvian.
The total opposite. But that's been a theme. That's been a theme, right?
Yeah.
Do this and nope, I'm going to do the total opposite. So it's not a switch you can turn on and off.
So despite us being all Latinos, I think it was just like there's still colorism and there's still like that weird, like, it's stupid. I hate it. Mom, just be nice to the guy, please. Like, and thankfully she was. And we did Christmas Eve together. And my boyfriend is just so gosh darn nice that you just can't help but like be nice to him back. And then, of course, my mom got him, put him to work. Literally Christmas Eve, she's making this man put up a TV like stand. She's like, have him bring his tools.
Oh, and he did it gladly because he's like, this will win me brownie points.
100%.
Yeah, that's 100%. A man that loves you.
He like made like a sourdough from scratch. He like built like a chair in the bag. I mean, my mom was like, should I ask him to paint the walls? No.
Mom, no. Mom, chill.
So now she likes him, but she's still like very much just like, well, I would like him to be like a tall 6-foot Swedish man. And I'm like, well, you're going to get a 5'7" Peruvian.
Yeah, because he loves me. He takes care of me. When you talk about him, you can feel the happiness and joy. And I know we've talked about so much like good stuff here, but I was really excited for you to come on because I wanted to hear some of your hot takes. Just most like unfiltered things that you say sometimes about, men that you totally believe in, but people just like give you a side eye. Give me like your most unfiltered hot take or thing that you think people just give you side eye for.
Men need friends. Real ass friends. I feel like men just like don't know how to connect. Again, I don't want to take credit for this take because I did see it on a TikTok video, but I internalized it. I'm like, God, I've never heard such a truer thing. Again, let me clarify, not all men. Okay. Whatever.
Not all men are like that, but the vast majority of the ones I've come across and seems like you have, we've seen this play out.
Yes, where they are such visual features. I think the reason why women will be nice to men is because we treat other people like people. Men can't fathom being nice to someone that they're not attracted to.
Wow, that is true.
Isn't that the craziest thing? Why would I be nice if I don't want to fuck them?
They can't fathom that. So they think if a girl is being nice to them, she has to be into them. But that's not the case.
Isn't that insane?
Yes, that's so freaking true. We can humanize people and talk to them on that level. I have a lot of queer friends that do the same thing, right? Damn.
Isn't that the craziest thing? I heard that and I'm like, and again, not all men. Like, I feel like this idea of like, if we always demonize and dehumanize men, like it'll other them. And like, that's not what I'm about. But it is very much like, it is enough men that this is an ongoing concern where it's just like, we can empathize and we can humanize a lot of things. But I don't think typical men who just haven't been exposed to that kind of empathy or that kind of thought or whatever, like they truly just, well, why would I be nice to them? Like, it's not even they're being mean. Like, they're just like, I don't want to fuck them. I don't want to be with them. I don't like them.
That's insane. And then that explains a lot of their behaviors and ghosting and all of that stuff. Wow. Okay, give me another one. That was so good. Give me another one.
There's a serious lack of empathy that happens because, like, women are prey in a way that, like, we have to think about our surroundings in a way that men never have. And I think only now, in the last maybe 5-10 years, has that conversation even happened where women are acknowledging that. Like, women always knew, but I think we just only recently started putting words to what we've experienced. And again, I'm not othering. It's more just, if you've never had to think about it, why would you think about it? Men don't have to think about weird little minutia that we're always thinking about. Even my partner, love him to death, he's still a dude. There's things that, like, he just hasn't even thought about. And he has daughters now. So sometimes I have to be like, hey, like, we got to think about this. Or, hey, we got to teach him about this kind of safety. And he's like, wait, why? Wait, what is that? And it's like, well, I don't know if you know this, but we get preyed upon on a daily basis.
You know what I just realized? I'm gonna make the connection, but you're right. Like, I was having this conversation a few episodes ago with one of my guests. I'm like, we're constantly overstimulated as women. We're looking over our shoulder. Is this happening? Is that happening? And I said, the minute I step outside of my house, I'm constantly overstimulated. But then I had to track back. I'm like, no, even when I'm in my house, I'm checking if my door is locked 5 times. But then when you say that, you know, we women are prey, the connection that I'm making is our parents know that too. And they are overly cautious. And that's what gets them to be so conservative and so strict. I'm not saying that is the right approach, but that is where they're coming from. And there needs to be more conversations on not just being strict on women, be strict on your boys, teach them. Oh my God, I love how things just full circle.
When I say I've been a little feminist my whole damn life, I always, like, to my mom and dad's face, I was like, why are you not giving my brother this talk? Or like it was crazy. They would give us 2 talks and like in the same sentence, my mom would be like, girls never trust men. Men are trash. And like men, like always like take it for all they're worth. And then my brother would be like, women will take you for all your worth. Like the same sentence. And I'm like, do you not see how this happened? And she would be like, to my brother, be like, make sure you don't marry a woman who's going to like walk all over you. So it was this constant messaging. And I always pointed out the hypocrisy of it all. And I think with my brother, thankfully my brother is like a pretty chill, dorky little nerd and I love him. But I'm pretty sure they never had a conversation with them about consent. They never had a conversation with them about like how to treat women. They never had a conversation in the same way that my mom was always telling me to respect myself and let myself, like, never let myself be harassed or disrespected or touch, like, have a boy touch me or kiss me or anything. She wasn't giving the same messaging to my brother.
And that's what needs to change. And Genesis, if people want to find you, where can they look you up?
Exclusively on ESPN Plus, UFC 313, Saturday. Reigning light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira defends his title against #1 contender Magomed Ankalaev, and an explosive lightweight bout between Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev. UFC 313, Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Buy it on ESPNplus.com/PPV.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
This episode is brought to you by Coffee Mate. After watching this season of the HBO's original series, The White Lotus, this is the tropical getaway I needed. One more pina colada, please.
Hey, you're not on mute.
Oh, I thought I was in paradise. Turns out it was my Coffee Mate. Coffee Mate Pina Colada and Thai-iced coffee flavored creamers. Inspired by the newest season of HBO's original series, The White Lotus. For the love of coffee. Try now.
Well, my personal account is at The Genesis Soul. That's GENESISSOL. And that's on my website, on Instagram, all socials. And then if you want to come find Witty Titties, that is Witty TITTIES comedy, Witty Titties comedy. And that's our website and on our Instagram. We are on TikTok, but TikTok likes to censor us. So we're mostly on Instagram, but we offer writing workshops for female comedians. And those are on Zoom as well. So if there are any Canadian listeners, any kind of any international listeners, we make sure that we have once a month on Zoom for anyone who's out of town and not in the LA area. And that's just a great way of like just punching up material and just kind of, and it's led by amazing industry professionals who are currently touring and have specials, and like they give us their time, which is so cool. And then we have a weekly open mic, women only, and that's every Thursday in Los Angeles. And then we have a monthly show, and we have our 4-year anniversary show in April in Hollywood. Please follow us on Instagram. We've been doing this for 4 years. Very exciting.
Genesis, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. This is genuinely so much fun, and it was great trauma dumping with you. Like, would do again.
Lovely is an Immigrantly media production. This episode was produced by Sadia Khan and Shay Yu, written by me, Mehak. Theme music, sound design, and editing by Lou Raskin. Other music is by Epidemic Sound. Tune in every Friday for more Lovely.